Good morning and welcome to the Silk Swing Studio virtual Swing Your Pain Away instruction course. My name is Robin Lawson. I'm the owner of Epigenetic Therapeutics and the founder of the Silk Swing Solution. I'm using two aerial silk hammocks. This one is a total of 9 yards. This one is about 5 yards, I think. It was originally 6 yards, but I cut it up for a child, and then discovered after I had eye surgery that using smaller and tighter hammocks was better for my body's healing. I'm going to take the edges of the fabric and bring them up like this and sit in the fabric. Now if this is your first time in the fabric, you might want to just sit here for a moment. It's taking you out of gravity. And that can be a little unsettling. It does spin and swing just a little bit. You can stabilize it by putting your feet on the floor, on the cushion beneath you. The first thing you'll notice is that when you get your body out of gravity, whether you're sitting or standing or lying down in any position, it immediately calms down your body by calming down your nervous system. Because today our bodies are so subluxated. Whether you're an athlete or a disabled veteran, your body is subluxated purely by the environment you live in, much less anything else that may have happened to you by your activities or affairs. And because of that, it's very difficult to get a full benefit or release when exercising on rigid machinery or rigid floors. It's actually contraindicated for most body types. I'm going to bring one foot into the fabric and step up into it so that I'm actually now standing in the hammock. You can see that that didn't take a whole lot of effort. Now the fabric is rigid on the vertical plane, a bit like your skeletal system, and it has tangential stretch all around the vertical axis, like all of your connective tissues, your ligaments, tendons, muscles. I'm having full contact with the bottom of my foot here, even my toes. And its spiral elastic properties allow my body to intuitively move with its support, similar to the way a baby moves in the mother's womb. The pressure of the amniotic fluid and the placenta working with the baby's movements to press out, which presses back in to itself, particularly its joints, which produces neurotransmitter release, oxytocin, dopamine, serotonin, endorphins, generating a feeling state of ease integrity, and connectivity. This feeling state with the body in ease and integrity is the footstool, foundation of everything else that happens to the organism. And likewise, a feeling of stress in the neuromusculoskeletal functioning, performance, produces after its own kind in the organism itself, feeding on its perceptions, its processing, its memories. The whole body is held together and supported by ligaments and sinew. Oh. Oh. I'm using the rigid part of the fabric to provide fascial release. Pushing through my arms, my hands rather, my arms, my hands. Strengthening my hands through the grip, the sensation, my wrist joints, my elbow joints, and my shoulders, and coincidentally, my neck and my stomach. Here I'm just sort of writhing my body, using the fabric to hold my head up, off my neck, trying to pull out the subluxation that has caused axial displacement post-surgery. Allowing my breath to come naturally and fully. Using the rigid vertical part of the fabric, but it's still soft and somewhat flexible, to press against my sacrum. I'm just going to rest here for a moment. These are very isotonic and isometric types of movements that require very little dynamic effort. There's support from the fabric, and then the intuitive senses that the full body contact brings to you and your mind's security and trust of the fabric will allow you to move through it organically finding your own healing, like walking in space. Standing up tall. Here I have the front of the fabric pressing up against my inguinal ligament that actually runs across the front of my hips. And now I'm bringing it up here, under my shoulder. It feels to me like I could actually push myself back together. And wish now that I had had a chance to try a different way of healing my eye rather than what was offered to me by the hospital in an emergency situation. I would have done it very differently. I'm just resting my head here. Also using it to lean back against, strengthening all the muscles in my neck, easing the tension there, bringing more fluidity, more oxygen, a consciousness of healing and integrity, a consciousness of powerful functioning, a consciousness of unobstructed flow, a consciousness of miracles. Consciousness of miracles. Coming into your inner self, closing your eyes. Allow your breath to be full and vocal, making any sound that spontaneously wants to erupt from you in an expression of release. Okay, so I'm going to bring this to support my head here. I'm going to grab the arms, or arm. Where's my other one? Here it is. Because my shoulders, particularly my left one, is damaged, and the joint and even the elbow and the wrist. This wrapping of the fabric, this sensual binding, comforts my wrist. And it holds it so there's no drag from gravity on it. The purple hammock is providing very gentle massage to my cerebellum. I can press against it and exercise all of the soft tissues in my neck. This is not planned. This is not scripted. This is an invitation into my healing journey and what I discovered to help myself, and I believe you might find is helpful to you too. So I'm squeezing through my whole body as if I'm squeezing into myself. Just squeezing and lifting, squeezing and lifting, arching, pressing, arching, pressing. Legs out to the side, back to the center. Legs out to the side, pressing into the hip joints axially, elastically. Straighten them out. Rotate your feet, knees in. Press through your feet, feet together, knees out. Feet together, straighten. Now let's move this hammock. It's actually I realized again through this last ordeal the trauma that descended upon me by being involved in a dehumanized medical system that prophesied, no, that, I don't mean that word. I mean, let's see. I'm at a loss for words right now. A medical system that masquerades as a whole body program with absolutely no understanding of any of its workers of the whole body. How the eye, or even the pressure in the eye, or even the loss of light in the eye would affect the entire organism. Not just by not being able to see, not just by not being able to read or depth perception, but actually 50% loss of the light processing, the light entry, the amount of light, and the processing of the light. And this alone can cause the entire body to feel neurologically disjointed, misfiring, rigid, tense, affecting both the body and the mind in ways that are hardly written about in any whole body approach to cutting the eye at the University of Vermont, and I suspect at every other teaching institution and hospital and ophthalmologist specialty surgical practice. In the same way, the chiropractors, the myofascial release, craniosacral therapist, the physical therapist, the functional body, the osteopaths, the yoga therapists, all of these people working with the body as a machine. Using outdated and contraindicated postures, positions, and practices to try to heal a viscoelastic organism through rigid practices on a hard surface. Asking people to sit in meditation when sitting is contraindicated for relaxation for most everyone in the 21st century. I've talked before about the origins of the seated meditation practice in a society that was very mobile, had no preservatives, had no computers, no desks. It was a physical and engaged society that, after doing the work of cooperating with nature for food and sustenance and neighbors, for protection and cooperation of inhabitants, we have become self-actualized through our disconnections. Calling the natural need for affection and connection codependent, when in fact, we are actually made codependent. We are born connected with an umbilical cord, and we are built, our psyche, through our connections with everyone who comes into our lives. Like a thread of the fabric of our lives are all the people and experiences that come through it, affecting that neurotransmitter release I talked about earlier, and the chemical composition of it. More than ever, we need to relax. And whatever is the cause of this coronavirus pandemic, it is certainly an opportunity to change many of the systems that are now in place, keeping us raggedly running in an inflexible, inelastic, and unsupportive physical environment. Can you just imagine what it might feel like to lie between these two hammocks? Pressing down again through my feet, tightening all of my muscles and connections, everything I can feel and remember, from my feet to my ankles and my calves and my knees, squeezing my legs together, tight, 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 squeezing my butt, tight, tight, tight. Oh, arching, bringing my knees up towards my chest. My body finding its own viscoelastic program. I feel like that's actually not enough support for my neck. Adjust my eye patch. I play this Arabic Quran recitation in the background because I have found that it's very calming and healing to me. Similarly to when I was chanting in Sanskrit in my yoga days, that the essence of the sound itself had a calming effect without my cognitive mind activity. It was rather auditory, sensorily connecting. Oh. Okay. So as I said before, this hammock is actually even smaller. Now, if I were going to do chakra stacking meditation, I might consider doing it in a position something like this, where my whole body can actually relax. My breath coming more fully and deeply. Every time I press down with my knees, I'm pressing up into my joints in a fluid resistance that works with my body's resistors, my fluid resistors, my body's fluid resistors. I can use it to stretch, lunge. You may hear pops, and cracks, and kinks popping out. Let me remind you, this is unscripted. This is my personal healing journey, my private practice, if you will. You could use this in your own home in a way that you need and is suitable for you. So here I am holding onto the front, this other side of the hammock. I'm sitting mostly in the middle of the hammock. My legs are spread out. My pelvis is tilted a little bit backwards. I'm going to pull down like this in the front. And I'm going to press up with my feet. I'm going to come down and open. Press and pull. And down and open. Pull and press. And down and open. Bend your legs. Walk with your feet. Pressing through your toes, your arches, your heels. Yes, it is getting hot in here. All right, let's bring our legs out. You know, this is a lot like the way they carry a baby. The way they wrap and bind. The way they wrap and bind a baby, supporting it. I'm out of words right now. Every day, I just get in the swings and do something different. Allowing my body knowledge and familiarity with the fabric to guide me. And my body's calm intuition to tell me what to do. I feel more connected to myself, more connected to my body's power and possibility for regenerating and mutating my entire psyche and spiritual processing. Being radically challenged. Everything about me. I hope you have enjoyed spending a little time with me in my healing practice today, and that you will consider reaching out to me if you want to learn how to hang the swings in your own home and follow me. If you go to my website, silkswingstudio.com, you'll find I now have a product page where you can order directly the products that I'm using here. If you need help with your purchase, you can contact me. And if you make a purchase without speaking with me, please let me know that you did, as I'm an Amazon associate and need 3 purchases from my website as it is before I can graduate to the next level. Again, my name is Robin Lawson. I'm the owner of the Silk Swing Studio, and this was a Swing Your Pain Away healing session here at my home studio. Thank you for joining me today.